Okay, this is my pancake flipper. I choose to use the real flat one. I want to be able to get underneath my pancake and flip it over, and it's very wide too. The temperature I usually set the grill on is the highest one to start with, at 400, because I can always go down from there. It's harder when you put pancakes on and you're not at a high temperature. You want them to rise quickly and cook quickly versus real slow. It's not like you're cooking a cake over time. These poof up, like if you go to Krispy Kreme and they're full of air, and that's what these are. They're full of air. So warning to the wise, don't eat 5 of them, because it's like Krispy Kreme. Once they hit your stomach, then they expand. Okay, we're ready to make the pancakes. So I'm going to douse it with just a little bit of oil here. Like I said, it just keeps them from sticking, but I like a little bit of crispy on the bottom of my pancakes. It doesn't have to be much. On to the pancakes. Depending on the size you want, you can fill your ladle up, or you could do smaller ones. Let's say I could probably get 6 on here if I wanted. I'll do 4 just so you could see. Alright, what you're looking for is all these little bubbles to start popping. And once you get a lot of action of popping there, you can check the underside first. I always start with the first one that I laid. You can see that it's starting to get cooked around the sides. I'll lift it up here in a minute and check. It won't poof up until you flip it over, and then you'll see it rise. The next batch I might turn it down just a little bit because now it is hot. But I'm going to check and see what we got going on. And it is starting to brown, so I'm going to flip it over. Then you start seeing it poof. That's what the egg whites have done. Now that they're starting to rise, now you're going to treat it sort of like a cake. When you push on it, it should pop back up. This one didn't pop up yet, so it's not done in the middle yet. You can see around the sides it poofs back up. But it doesn't in the middle because that's where all the dough is still. So you let it continue going until it pops back up. You never, ever, 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 my mom will come find you and kill you, pat your pancakes down. That's a big deal in our family. Never pat them down. They're supposed to expand like that. Okay, I'm going to check it again. It poofed back up. Now that we're done, we're going to take them off and put them on our plate. You can check the bottom side, but I guarantee you they're done now. I usually stick them on the plate, butter them up, and then I put tinfoil on to keep them warm until the rest of them. It does have a crispy edge on the bottom, nice and crispy. That's what the butter's done. I'm going to put a little bit of butter on. I usually start with the bottom one because it will melt the top one then. Lay it on top of that one. Put some on the top. We like a little bit of butter. You don't have to use butter. I just think it saves a step later, especially if you have a lot of company. They don't have to sit there and butter it's better when it's warm than it is cold to butter their pancakes and then put syrup on. All they have to do is throw it on a plate and put syrup on. And then I'm going to cover it with tin foil. Keep them warm as I do it. And I just keep throwing on another layer each time I do it. Especially if I don't have guests eating them all at once, as I make them. Now that my first batch is done, I did turn it down just a little bit. I turned it down to 350 because it is pretty hot. Then I add a little bit more oil. With this grill, I can show you how much you could actually get on it. If you have large groups, it's the perfect grill. Especially the holidays. That size, add a little more. So you're looking at, what do we got? 9 going on. I did 3 before, or 4 before. I probably have another, probably another 2 in here. So you're looking at 12, 13, 14 pancakes. Probably even more if you did a little smaller. I like to have big pancakes. And that's just in one sitting, so that you don't have to keep repeating in a small little grill over and over again 2 or 3 pancakes. You could get this done quickly. Like I said before, you want to start watching the bubbles pop. That's when you kind of know when it is time to flip it over. I started with this one. Let's see, I know I did them pretty close. This one's ready to flip over, but I'm going to go ahead and flip this one so I can move it a little bit. And then I'll go back to this one. There we go. Now we're on a roll. And I just kind of go in the order that I put them down. I'm going to stop there because I noticed they're a little too light. This is where they're starting to pooch up. This is a good point to show again. Remember, you want to kind of wait till the middle springs back up like a cake. These here were the latter of the ones that I poured. So this one's not quite ready. It still kind of came up really too slow. The smaller, thinner ones, they may come up. And you'll realize as you go through putting your pancakes out, the first batch will be a lot more fluffier than the ending batch, because you're using those egg whites ahead of time. It starts to settle after a while as you're making pancakes. That's also why I like the big grill. You can get them all done at once, and you're not sitting there to wait to eat at the very end and everybody else has already eaten. So these are ready to take off now. And I'll put the butter on in a minute. This is our family tradition. We when the kids were younger, we'd do the Mickey Mouse ones. If you've never done one, it's just a big ladle in the middle and then 2 little ladles on the side to make the Mickey Mouse. Alright, now we're finished. We have about 13, 14 here, plus Mickey. So I would say for a bowl, without doubling the recipe, you're looking at between 15 16 pancakes, average size. I made a couple big ones to begin with. So average size, I would say, you're looking at about 16. And I'll go ahead and put that recipe on the website at homemakerpro.com, and enjoy your pancakes.